insane opportunity for us real estate wholesalers to go out there and make money. So if you guys didn't know, by the way, my name is Zach Ginn. So I'm 21 years old and I run the Wholesaling Houses for Real Facebook group, which is basically one of the largest mastermind. It is actually the largest mastermind in real estate wholesaling. And we go live here every Friday at 7 o'clock. You can join the Zooms. Just go to Wholesaling Houses for Real on Facebook and you can go in and actually get access to it. So this is pretty exciting. We are actually live here and let's bring some people in here and let's answer the question. But really the topic of today is how to win in saturated markets. So I'm going to go really break down how to do it. And I want to answer some questions from everyone and seeing what I can do to help. So the number one question I always get is like, Zach, I'm in a saturated market. My market's just way too saturated. There's no way to make money on it. And guys, I'm in a saturated market too. And I'm making 7 figures a year in net profits in my real estate wholesaling business in a saturated market. Our acquisitions people have to deal with 5, 6, 7 other wholesalers every single deal. And the only way that we actually make money is through the power of rapport. So I'm going to hammer it home today. Rapport, guys. To win in a saturated market, you have to build the rapport over every other wholesaler. Some things I can tell you about rapport is, remember, like the Ford method: family, occupation, recreation, dreams. If you guys remember, just be a human and talk to your sellers face to face, have a conversation, and actually genuinely be empathetic and actually care about the seller, you will get the deal 9 times out of 10 over your competition. This is the stuff your competition's not doing. They're not spending the extra time talking to the seller about their favorite sports team or their favorite hobby versus the other wholesaler who's just numbers, 100K offer, 100K offer, 100K offer. You have to be a little different. If you're in a saturated market, that's the difference between getting these $40,000, $50,000 wholesaling deals than getting none of them at all. So I'm telling you guys, it is one of the biggest reasons why most wholesalers don't do well is they don't focus on the seller. And the seller is the reason why you get your wholesaling deals and you have your success. And if you just do wholesaling the regular way, the wholesaling the regular way is we do the regular marketing. I try to run through the seller and try to get a contract as soon as possible, not really care. You're going to be like every other wholesaler that listens to all the other wholesaling gurus and you're not going to get the deals. If you focus on the seller, really care about what they have to say, I'm telling you, you'll get your deals. And ask questions below. Obviously, I'm going to answer all the questions that you guys ask, and I'll answer them when it comes to winning in saturated markets. Our number one is also using niche lists. I love niche lists. Niche lists are one of my favorite marketing channels out there and marketing lists out there. A niche list may be like a government list, a list from the government. So the code violations, probates, tax delinquency, water shutoffs, using lists that other wholesalers aren't going after in a saturated market will bring you success in real estate wholesaling. It's one of my favorites out there. So we got some people on here. Let's get some questions going and see what I can do to help you out in your real estate wholesaling business. So first off, we have Matthew. Matthew, what is up, man? How are you?
Hey, how's it going, man? Can you hear me?
Doing great, man. Every day above ground is an amazing day.
Good. No, it's like actually my first time hopping on here. Just here for all the gems that you guys have. I recently just started. I'm out here in Maryland, so
Okay.
a bit higher price point, but I'm focused on kind of I'm not sure if you're familiar with Prince George's County. It's kind of like the hotter area in this area.
DMV-ish.
Yeah, it's like right outside DC.
All right, perfect.
But yeah, so I mean, I recently started. I left my 9 to 5, and kind of this was just my first week, honestly.
Okay. Hey, congrats. You put your eggs in the one basket on the job and you're going out and you're actually going out there and living the dream. So congrats to you. Thanks for hopping on today. I'm excited. So Prince George County, I'm kind of familiar with it. There's some decent areas in there. I know a lot of guys doing deals in like Hagerstown, things like that. That's in Prince George, right? I'm not getting that confused.
Hagerstown, that's probably Frederick County. It's like
okay.
More north.
Okay. So my general advice is that, I mean, the DMV area is very saturated, as you know. Yeah. Places like Alexandria in Virginia, like out of the question. So in a saturated market, you really need to be focusing on the best price points. So I would say anything under 300K is where you can kind of get some good deals going. Obviously, I would probably go further north than south, especially if you're in Prince George County. But there's a lot of guys doing deals. Like, it's saturated, but there's plenty of deals out there to do. The best list I could tell you over there would be Driving for Dollars.
Got it. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, in your saturated market here, you have to get the list that no one else has. And everyone's going to buy a high equity list and hammer that with cold calling and SMS. And everyone's going to just go after the regular, most likely they're all going to go after probate. So that's a list anyone can get. So to go after a list that nobody can get, Driving for Dollars is one of the best options for you.
Yeah. And in your experience, I guess, would you say like kind of like the 4 to 8 would be like the best times to reach sellers, or I guess like what do you see in terms of your team?
Yeah, we do 2 to 7. That's our best time on actually getting in contact with the seller.
Okay.
That's probably what I'd be doing.
Got it. Sorry, man. I wish I had more for you. I was not expecting this.
What are you expecting?
I don't know. Just more questions or something like that. Not me, rookie.
No worries, man. You're probably going to get a million other questions when we hop off here. So you can always direct message me on Facebook and Instagram. Might take me a while to get back to you, but I will get back to you and I will answer whatever you got. I do these lives every week. So you can hop on every single week whenever you want. And I'm here to answer your questions. So don't worry.
Yeah. Thank you.
No worries. Appreciate it, Matthew.
Yeah.
All right. Next here, we got Raycito. Am I saying that right?
Hey, what's up, Zach? Yeah, Ray is Raycito. I'm in Miami, so everything is Cito this and Cito that. It's Raycito. It's really Ray, but I'm in Miami, so it's Raycito. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Awesome. Thanks, man. Well, thanks for having this. Thanks for having this Zoom call today. Thanks for sharing your experience with us. I really appreciate it.
No worries. I mean, you're in Miami, so this is the perfect topic for you.
Yeah, it is actually. I mean, it's definitely saturated here. I'm a little newer myself. I've been on the launch control platform for about a month now, and so I'm getting familiar with that. And then I just saw the video your dad posted about the probate, so I'm thinking about working on that list there as well. But I wanted to find out. I guess, do you have some kind of program where there's like a class or something? I briefly saw on the website, there were some testimonials or something, but I only saw something for like $168 or something. So I'm like, I hopped on this call to see what kind of program or, class you have or whatever for someone that, like myself, if I wanted to like have, maybe one-on-one meetings with you or your dad to kind of guide me, if that's possible or something like that. So that's why I'm here, basically.
Okay. So let me tell you real quick, back in 2012, 2013, I was like, what? I was in, I think, middle school or maybe even elementary school. Rick did sell a probate course like way back in the day. He signed a licensing thing with someone. Like, I don't know the full details, but he did sign a licensing deal where basically he had to do another one. So he released one in 2015, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think he released one in 2017 also before I got into wholesaling, all through probates because he's the probate like expert. And so there might be some stuff circulating on the internet. I think we might have old flip with Rick ones. I think we used to sell a probate course before I started the YouTube channel. Hence, for more like now we don't sell any we don't do any one-on-one coaching. We don't sell any courses anymore. But I think the licensing person might keep it up. They're trying to use our name to sell courses. We don't get any money from those, or I think Rick might get money like 10% or whatever from like it's no money. So those aren't one-on-one. We don't really make any money off of them, and we don't like promoting them at all. So there's stuff out there, I'm pretty sure. But they're all really old. And they work, they're good. I mean, the ad copy we still use for a business, but we don't actively promote it because first of all, we don't make money off of it. And it's a publisher that's promoting it and kind of using our name for it. So if you could find it, I mean, more power to you, but I mean, not something I
No
promote.
worries, no worries.
The
Let me
YouTube
ask you
channel
this.
is way more stuff than that. I promise you. That's kind of the point of the YouTube channel.
Let me ask you this. For the text messaging, is there like a number that you have where you say like every 5,000, you should probably at least get 1 or 2 deals out of that? Like, is there some kind of rough number that you have, any kind of metrics around text, texting, text marketing campaigns?
Yeah. So it fluctuates like crazy depending
Yeah.
on the list, skip tracing provider, and really a lot of factors. What's your closing rate? Like, how good of a closer are you? It's like cold calling. Like if I send 1,000 probates out, I know I'm probably gonna get 2 to 3 deals. Like, it's guaranteed. Like a mailer wise, it's insane. Texting, I think 10 to 15, we're closer. It's getting harder. So 10 to 15 should land us a deal. Now remember, the deals fluctuate too. So it might be a $10,000 deal or it might be a $50,000 deal. A deal is a deal. So that's what it kind of takes us to land. Now, if I'm doing a code violation list, I'll get a deal maybe every 5,000. If I'm doing a high equity, it might be 20 to 25. So it's all over the board. I'll say roughly 10 to 15. If you do like a water shutoff list, like you do very niched out lists, you could probably bring that number down a lot, but the list is gonna be a lot smaller. So it's definitely yin and yang. My favorite thing to do is pull all the niche lists together, like niches from everywhere, and put them all into one big texting or one big cold calling one.
Yeah. Then, man, thank you. That's great advice. And the reason why I ask is because on launch control, I mean, their initial plan starts you at 2,500 texts. And I'm like, that's just not going to get it done. So then I went to 5K. And now at 5K, I had about 3 real situations where I got real close to getting some deals. And so I'm like, okay, well, I think if I double that and go to 10K, I should be good. So I'll get 10K from PropStream, 10K on my skip tracing, and then 10K text messages I can send out. I should get some momentum from that. So I was just curious. So now that you're saying 10, 15, I just wanted, that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
Ray, let me ask you a question. Was there a reason why you're doing that over cold calling?
Well, I work a 9 to 5, and I actually called from my job. I'm on the phone cold calling from my job. I cold call all day from my job, and so when I finish work, the last thing I want to do is spend another 3 hours calling. So
I get it.
What I found is, honestly, I'll send my text out in the morning. I do batches of like 500 per day. So I'll send my texts out in the morning, 9, 10 o'clock. And then when I, like around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I'll go through, and whoever has some kind of interest, I'll pick up the phone and call them. So I am, still speaking to sellers, but I'm just not making all those outbound cold calls. It's just more warm on whoever put their hands up that, from one of my text messages that I sent out today. And I'm going that route basically.
Okay. I'm not going to try to get in trouble with your job, but could you do texting while you're cold calling?
Yeah, I work from home.
I'm not telling you what to do, but here's something to think about.
I work from home, so and I'm a small business consultant. So yeah, I basically work for myself, but I get paid by the organization. But as part of my job and what I do, I pitch businesses. So I'm pitching to businesses, but it's actually cold calling. So I'm cold calling businesses, but I'm actually a contractor, so Perfect. I can do whatever I want to do. Okay.
Yeah, I would do the texting too. I agree. You're gonna have to pull the right list and know where to skip trace with, depending on your time and money. If you're cold calling, like it's a very, tedious job, you could not pay for skip tracing and do true people search and try to just do the free skip tracing while you just got like time on your hands to do it. I don't know how good you are. I know people play like Madden stuff.
Money's not a problem for me, Zach. So the skip tracing that I have, the 10K is not an issue. That's
okay. Well, yeah, I pay for it.
Yeah. I pay for 10K skip tracing. Money's not a problem.
Perfect. Okay. So yeah, that's probably what I would do, and just start texting like crazy. Yeah, that you got to focus. Or is it going to be in Miami-Dade, or is this going to be a virtual market?
A little bit of both, actually. I've expanded outside of Dade and gone a little bit further north as well. I know, not to go too close to St. Port Lucie. That's where you guys are, but
you can do it. I don't care.
But yeah, more. I went south to Homestead area. That there's a lot of activity I've been getting down in the Homestead area, actually, believe it or not. And so primarily, Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, but more Homestead, believe it or not. I'm not sure what's going on in Homestead right now, but most of my responses have been in Homestead.
Okay. And yeah, that'd be pretty. I mean, you can go to Port St. Lucie if you want. It's just a lot harder just because the distance wise, but you're always free to do it. Palm Beach is always great. Like there's so many great ones out there. So I would do 50-50. Like I think you've seen enough of my stuff where I'll say, if you're kind of stuck in that saturated market and you want to know if you should go virtual or not, I think you should do 50% of your effort for texting and like a crazy market, let's say like Tennessee rural, and like your local market here, Palm Beach, north from there, and then see where you're getting your results from. So if you find out you're doing a couple deals like virtually out in like Michigan or something, or Indiana, and you're doing good there, and you're like, wow, this Miami stuff's not working, then you know to go all in on that one. That's probably what I would say. I would test everything out. Do some Palm Beach testing, do some Broward testing. Homestead's a really good, interesting one. Like I would test that one out too, and really go from there. But just make sure your filters are right. Obviously, Miami-Dade, you don't really want to be pushing 300K, 350. But overall, you can do pretty well there. So that's a good plan. I think you're cutting out there. Hello, Ray. Can you hear me?
All right. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Like I said, I saw, have you PropStream just put the new pre-probate filter in there. I'm not sure if you had time to play around with that or if you want to talk about that at all.
Yeah, we've been studying it. Rick did a video on it. We're spending more and more time researching that. So I got a lot of free time on my hands because we're all delegating or wholesaling. So I've been looking at it. Our best probably way to look at it is we're still pulling probates. That's not going to change, but from the courthouse, but we're most likely going to start pulling that and then doing a lot of cross-referencing. Now, I'm not going to do it. A VA is going to do it. So we're going to work very hard using like True People Search, things like that, trying to find relative phone numbers and then texting and cold calling those and sending mailers to their address. It's a lot more tedious, but we have the money and probates are such great deals. And since Rick did that little probate course back then, like everyone in St. Lucie County does the same ad copy and stuff as us. So for us to gain that advantage, we're probably going to do that also.
I'm sorry. Really? Hard to hear you because I think someone's phone is like not on mute or something.
Oh, oops. All right. I muted that person.
I heard you say something about Rick, everyone's copying Rick. And then
yeah, I mean, Rick gave out his ad copy on that little course from like 2014. So we changed it up a little to our like 2021 standards, but obviously we're always testing it. We're always do great probate deals, but we want to push it even more because there's just so much saturation. Like if you have a probate motivated sale, they're getting like five things from wholesalers, because I scream on YouTube how much money we're making on probate. So they're all going to go there. And then we get about 4 or 5 realtors go after the probates because realtors are marketing for probates now too. So it's like 10 people going after a person, which is insane. So we're definitely looking, and we still get crazy, like huge probate deals. So I would say we're looking at pre-probate. We're looking at getting a VA to scrub really hard on finding the actual heirs. They'll do all the work. Then we'll send mail. We'll do cold calling and texting with that. And we'll do a regular probate mailers. And we're probably going to try to beat people by like 4 or 5 days. Spend a fortune doing that, but it's a huge advantage for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what's going on with the pre-foreclosure thing? When do you think that's going to hit? I know we're pretty close, right?
It's dependent. It's really what the new like presidential administration is going to do. A little bit mixed. You're in Florida, so Ron DeSantis has been pretty much just foreclose on anyone or evict anyone. But really, it's ultimately up to the banks. So like in 2008, there could have been a flood of foreclosures hit the market and the market would have dropped even more. But the bank is trying to sell assets. So that's not their best financial interest to do that. What they would do is they would sell a little bit at a time. So the prices are higher. Most likely that's what I'm probably looking at with the banks. My guess, I'm not the expert here, but they're probably going to slowly put that in the market and sell it. and not flood the market too much, because they do have a decent amount of foreclosures. And really the economy is booming back pretty well. So it should be pretty reasonable for them to do that. And while the real estate's hot, they're going to just slowly put it out there. I don't think it's going to be a huge difference. I thought the eviction one would have a difference. Like Ron DeSantis did not, he lifted all the evictions and the prices just kept going up. And like you're in Miami, everyone from California and New York are just flooding in to Texas and Florida. So it just makes it even worse on the actual like pricing side. For me, selling in my wholesaling deals, it's even better. But everyone's moving to those two states, and prices are just going to keep going up unless they do something like interest rates, which I don't see for a while.
Awesome. Thanks, Zach. Well, I'm just going to hold off for now. Maybe someone else has questions. I don't want to take up all your time, but thank you so much.
I'm here all day. Like I've said, there's no playoffs, no sports. So I'm good to go, man. So if you got any questions, let me know. Always here to help. All right. So next here we got Natalie.
Yeah. Hey. Hey Zach, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So I was actually I was wondering. So the new law that's coming in for text blasting. So how many messages could I send per day without having to register under the carriers? Is it possible that I could only send? Because right now I'm sending like 5,000 texts per day, but I know that I'm not going to be able to do that anymore. So is it possible that I could send like maybe 500?
What service are you using for texting?
Batch.
Okay. So the Trace Act it's pretty loose how they're doing it. So in my opinion, for the first 6 to 12 months, they're going to only go after, the act is really for those robocall guys, like call for your warranty auto.
Yeah.
I got 2 today like that.
Yeah,
so
me
they're
too.
going to go after them first. They're not going after you. You're not like the reason why they're going after you. So most likely, I think you're going to be safe for a couple months, in my opinion. And then it's probably going to ease up a little more until Batch is going to play it very safe because they don't want you get in trouble. So
yeah,
I think it might be closer to 500 to 1,000. I'm thinking
until they get a little bit more tighter, right?
Yeah, it might get a little more tighter. You can do a lot of creative stuff. You can open marketing LLCs. I know Anton Campbell was talking about that yesterday on my podcast. So it's a lot of interesting stuff you can do. We're probably going to pump up cold calling a lot more to compensate.
Yeah, because I am cold calling and text blasting at the same time. But like, I prefer text blasting. Like I would mainly text blast everybody and then reach out to the people that like gave me a good response. And then after 2 months, I would cold call the whole list.
Yep.
While I'm text blasting a new list. Yeah. So like, that's gonna kind of really mess me up because like now I'm kind of like scared a little bit to like send messages because I don't know like if I'm gonna get in trouble for it.
You won't get in trouble. Now, obviously you're not doing anything illegal in the texting wise.
Yeah.
You study TCPA, Telephone Communication Protections Act of 1991. If you're compliant on there, you should be fine. Like cold calling wise, you're going to be safe. Like you're not doing anything fraudulent. The only way you get in trouble with cold calling is if a robot's calling it or a robot's dropping in messages. So I'm steering clear from dropping in messages, and I'm also steering clear of having a robot call. We've tested that out before. So if you're physically calling someone, you're not even trying to sell someone. You're asking if someone wants to sell their house to you. You should be fine cold calling. SMS, we really got to see how it's going to play out. I think you should be fine for the next couple of months before we know. But they're implementing this act like piecemeal. So throughout the next couple of years. So it's not going to be like what Thanos just snaps his fingers and everything changes. Like it's going to be very slow. So you'll have plenty of time to react.
All right. So with cold calling, I heard that because I was reading into the Trace Act. So are we supposed to like call less people at a time? Because I heard that if more people start to hang up on us, then our number is going to get seen as spam. So now like basically I'm going to have to spend more hours cold calling and reaching less people, right? Or not really? Because I just want to know what to expect because as of right now, like I call like 5 people at a time, 6 people at a time, and then I recycle the list. So I want to know, like, should I, cold call for longer hours now? Because I cold call like 5 hours, and I usually get a good amount of people. But I'm feeling like now that I have to cold call only 3 people at a time, like, should I stretch out and maybe cold call for like 6, 7 hours, or what do you think?
Triple line dialer is the most you should do. Anything above that, no, you'll get in trouble. Triple line dialer. If you're good at it, if you're cold calling 5 hours a day, I think eventually, I mean, you should have the skill set now where you will get it if you keep doing that. Cause that's exactly what I did when I was 18. You'll get very good on the phones and you'll probably be closing a lot more deals. So your call through will be fine. Cause you're going to have a couple 5-10 minute conversations, which is going to help your average length of your calls. So you should do well during that. It's when you're doing the 12 line dialing where it's like a 10-minute call on average is going to be a 1 minute. It's going to ruin it. So you're going to have a lot of hangups. So 3 lines is probably what I would do. I would clean your list a lot better. Make sure you cut out like lines that are like really old or bad. But you just want to focus on call length. That's probably what I'd be doing. And then the answered calls, you should be fine. But use a triple line dialer. You should get through it. I would be a lot quicker on them. So you wanted over 10 seconds. I'm pretty sure it's 20 seconds is the threshold. And so that's enough on average. If you do a bunch of 10-second ones and then you add in like a 5 or 10 minute one, you should be fine.
All right, perfect. So you're using, I know that you were using Zenco and now you switched over to a batch dialer.
Yeah, I ain't getting in trouble.
Okay. Because I'm in call tools right now, but I think I was going to switch to Zenco, but then I heard that you like completely switched from Zenco to batch. So why did you really switch over?
Okay. Zenco is a Canadian company and I just don't trust it. They're more focused on international. So I went back to batch because I know that they will protect my butt. If I won't do anything crazy that's non-compliant with them. So that's why I went with them. Same price. And it's really a triple line dialer. And Zencall's user interface is so bad. Like,
I've heard.
Look at it.
It's like a big learning curve.
It's huge. So I'm going to have to add more cold callers versus SMS people. So I want to cut the learning curve. Through with my people. So that's kind of went with them. I use my skip tracing. I always get it. I get pretty good results and it's just easier to kind of have them all in one. So that's really it. It's mostly because we're in a bigger company. So I don't want to risk a crazy lawsuit. So I'm using one that's going to keep me more protected. You can use whatever one you want, but don't go over a triple line dialer. That's probably what I would say. Okay.
And for all your lists, do you also skip trace it? I mean, like, do you also run it by the DNC?
Yes. Batch does that for us. But
because I also use Batch. So if I skip trace with Batch, I don't have to go and search for like a third party, like for the litigators and stuff like that.
No, they'll clear them out for you.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. And so my last question, because I know I'm probably taking up a lot of your time. So
I'm good.
What would be some good filters to use on PropStream?
Yeah, I'll let you know. Remember, don't feel bad asking questions because you're helping the people listening. So like you're helping the more questions you ask. So my favorite filters on PropStream right now are the water shutoffs. I absolutely love, you're doing cold calling. So if you're doing a high level of cold calling, what market are you doing?
I'm doing Tennessee.
Tennessee.
I was doing New Jersey initially, but it was just too saturated. I feel like everybody that's from New York and is wholesaling, like they just go straight to New Jersey, and it's just too saturated for me. And I didn't get any deals. But now that I've moved to this market recently, I didn't move here, but like I'm virtually here now. Like I changed my market, so I already have one deal under contract, and I've only been there for 1 month.
Yeah, Tennessee's
so
great.
It's way better. Yeah.
Our experience in Tennessee, if you're doing a high volume, like 10,000 plus, focus on the right zip codes that your cash buyers are like hot on. Actually, you might want to focus on high equity with very tight filters. Study in your county or city that you're doing your virtual. Don't tell me your market because everyone's going to flood in there.
Yeah.
Watching this, but study that market and see what price points, because you're saying people are selling most of their wholesaling deals at like 289, or maybe it's like the most is like 150. So focus on there. I'd filter out the equity, 55 to 60%. I like 60% equity. That's just me. Make sure they've owned it for at least 3 years. That high equity list should probably be good. If you're cold calling, like you're saying 5 hours, you're going to want to be a lot broader. So I would do high equity, own it for 3 years, and make sure it's on the MLS on your hot zip codes. And I think that's good enough for you, because you're not trying to do a tiny niche thing out there in the triple line dialing. And the reason why I tell you that is because that list will probably be good for you for like an entire year. The code violation list, it's not good for a full year if that code violation gets scooped up or fixed, or that probate.
Because I've just been pulling like violations, like the water bill shut off that you were talking about. Like I also went on PropStream and one of the utilities. I've also been doing vacant. I did also try the pre-probate, but on PropStream, but I feel like that one doesn't really work, because I've called, and most people that I've called from that list have no association with the property.
Yeah.
Like they don't know what I'm talking about. And I just felt like that's not a list that was working for me, the pre-probate. So where would you recommend that I get like probate leads? Because you know that I don't live in my market, and I can't go to the courthouse.
You go to the courthouse's website and try to pull them from public record. So don't tell me your market again, but market, county, clerk of the court. You should be able to pull them. I have plenty of videos on actually how to pull probates virtually. I should be releasing a video soon on that too. So you go to the clerk of the court, you pop it up, and you can actually pull it. Actually from there, very specific cases you can't. I know in Tennessee it's very easy to do. So go to that clerk of the court, search official record, court cases, go by probate, pull them from there for the past month. It's a lot of work, but that's how you do it. You get it as soon as fast as possible, and it's for free.
Okay. And I would just pull the information and put it on a spreadsheet, right?
Yes.
And then I would just skip trace it. And I don't need the name. Do I need the names of the owners or no?
Possibly. Yeah, right? You want the actual address, and then you want the heirs, and that will probably help you a lot. But really with the address, you should get some information from there. It's really dependent. So I like to have as much info as possible and see what's going on with there. But I like to go after the heirs and mail to them. And that's how we get our best results. Cold calling works too.
Okay. All right. And have you had any luck? Have you tried Facebook ads before or no?
Yeah. Don't get in that. Cold calling, you'll do way better. I promise you.
Okay. Because I did, when I first started wholesaling, I did buy like a Facebook ads course. And it didn't really go so well, but I also felt like I didn't put my best effort into it.
No, but the reason I'm telling you that is since you're not newer, but like you cold calling 5 hours a day will give you so much skills closing deals over doing Facebook and then not talking to as many sellers. You're kind of training. Like you're not going to be cold calling 5 hours a day for the next 2 years. You'll probably in a year, you'll get very good where you can actually start doing other stuff. So I would take this opportunity right now to get really good at talking to sellers over the phone through cold calling. It's the cheapest, and it will just build up your skill set. It was the biggest growth for me in my wholesaling career was that cold calling for a year straight, 5 hours a day, 5 days a week. That it's better than any course, any video you watch, any of this. I would say keep doing it. Even if you don't wholesale, those skills will go to any job you do, I promise.
Yeah. Because I just feel like I'm learning better, like how to build rapport and like how to mirror people's tones.
Yes.
So I feel like that's really a good idea. So who do you think would be one of the first people that I would hire? Wait, what I wanted to really ask you was like, so the people that you hire for like your business, are they all like virtual? Like, are they all from maybe like the Philippines, or do you have people that are also American based? So I've heard a lot of bad things about like American based people. So I just want to see.
Yeah. So always, I think your first one should be always marketing when you're getting an employee. So our operation is we have marketing people, dispositions people, kind of. And then we got lead managers, and then acquisitions it's in-house. So our only American people are obviously me, Rick, and then our acquisitions people. The VAs are the ones doing a lot of the harder work. So maybe pulling lists, pulling the marketing stuff for us. And then the actual real grunt work is do the SMS and the cold calling. Those are most of the VAs do all the hard work. They're cold calling for us, and their accents are the best you can get for the rate that we're paying them. And they will do the hardest work. So you want to be at the point where you're making so much money, like cold calling by yourself, that you hire someone to do cold calling for you. And then you start shifting more into there's so many leads coming in that you're just closing deals on the phone like a machine. And then at that point, you hire more marketing people, then you get an acquisitions person, then you focus on the disposition side, and then you start getting an acquisitions person from there. That's a lot of money. You got to get some more profits before you do that. But the first hire, honestly, in my opinion, should be a cold caller. $4 an hour, cold calling for you. And they should do lists that you're not cold calling also. And then see the results.
In your business, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but in your business, do you do all of the, like, do you meet with the property owner, or you have someone that does that for you?
I haven't met the property owner in at least a year. Our acquisitions person does it all.
Okay, all right. And about how long did it take you to build your business up like that? I know you're saying that I need to close a lot of deals to have a lot of capital.
4 years. I say 4 years. It took me really, honestly, 2 to master wholesaling, to get my 10,000 hours in. And then basically a year, I started really the scaling up. And then for a year, we kind of, not on autopilot, but we've been scaling it up from there. So really 4 years. It's a slow curve, but it just keeps the money just exponential. So that's kind of where we're at.
Congratulations, though, because you really do deserve it. You really sound like you've been hustling since you were young.
I've been doing it 17.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I really appreciate you answering my questions here today. I feel like no one else on YouTube does this.
They don't.
And I really appreciate you, man. And I wish you the best.
I appreciate it. Thank you. If you got any more questions, let me know. Guys, don't be scared to ask as many questions as you want. Be greedy for your time. This is like the only time a week where I'll go in front of someone and talk to them. I don't have the time during the other parts of the week to do this. So Friday evenings, I'm pretty much cleared out. So, and there's no sports, so we're good. So I don't watch like TV at all. So we can do this, help you guys out as much as possible. So next year we got Christian. What's up?
Hey, Zach. Good to be here. How are you?
Dude, I'm amazing. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Man, I just did my first SMS blast.
Ooh, congrats.
And thanks. I was watching your videos that you have done before, and there's a lot of people hating out there. They're so mad. I guess a lot of people get so many text messages about the same thing, and a lot of people like say, "Hey, I've already told you to stop." I'm thinking I've never texted you before, but anyways, just a new experience, you know. I was gonna ask you, so how many lists do you actually do per week? And of those lists, how many people or how many contacts do you have?
So it's dependent.
Text blasting.
Okay, for texting, so every quarter in the first part of the quarter, we'll pull. It's harder for me to explain it to you than with us, because with our market, it's a lot tinier. So if you have any equity at all, we're probably going to pull you. And that means if I'm pulling code violations, most likely you're already in that high equity list. We do a very broad approach because we're making a lot of money in a small market. So we just market to everyone with high equity, and we have the money for it. And the economies of scale work best like that. So obviously you're not going to do everyone in Texas like that. So it's a lot different. So the only one we're really pulling is obviously the government lists. We have the VAs doing that. The focus is definitely on probates because speeds everything with them. But the high equity ones, they're generally the same. So our population is like 500,000. At most, we're at like 250 to 300. maybe if that, if we use specialties. And that's including like if we even go down to Palm Beach, like which we don't really do. But we've been doing a lot more Palm Beach lately because we're really figuring it out now. But honestly, it's that and then the virtual stuff. So that's really the numbers. Like we do a very, very broad approach with high equity just because we can. I know a lot of guys in like Phoenix do that too, where they'll do all of Maricopa County high equity and just have that list. And we spend a fortune on skip tracing on that list, and those lists are fine. So we don't have to be pulling lists because that list was pulled like a year ago and it's fine. So we'll scrub the list for different owners and stuff, but that's kind of how we do it.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So I try to get my pre-probate, my high equity vacants here in my market. I don't see anywhere in any of the probably 15 cities that I looked within my market that have water shutoffs. Zero. I don't know why. Maybe they're not doing it here because of COVID. I'm not sure. And then the credit card list that you were showing the other day on your video, it seems like you have to go through each one, right? And kind of like assess maybe the judgment, pull up the judgment, see if it's even worth pursuing, right? So would you say that I should just stick to maybe pre-probate and high equity vacant list?
I would say that. Now, remember, here's a very key point. You're not going to do that credit card debt list because it's very, very time intensive and tedious, correct?
Yes.
And you're in a saturated market. So what my team does is I'll pay a VA $4 or $5 an hour for 40 hours a week to be just doing that stupid mind numbing task. And then we'll contact that person where no one else in my market is doing that. And that's how we get that deal. So in a saturated market, that's sometimes the stuff you have to do to get these crazy big deals. So keep that in mind too. So stuff for most wholesalers, just way too much work to do. We'll do this dirty job, have a VA do it obviously, and we get the deal. They're very expensive leads, but they're very, very highly motivated. So just keep that in mind too. But vacant with high equity, you can't go wrong. So those are great ones.
Okay. Thanks for that information. Let's say that there's a property that has a lien and you have a motivated seller who wants to actually sell. How does that actually work? Like, let's say that they have a 10,000 lien for whatever reason, whatever it is. I put on their contract, open escrow. Well, title's gonna find that there is a lien on it, right? Then what?
Yeah. So they will get, let's say easy numbers, $100,000, right? Remember, I got the thumbnail back to the video. We did like a 20-minute video on like wholesaling with mortgages and liens just to break it down. So if you message me on Facebook, I'll send you the unlisted video on that. I'll just send that to you. But
thank you.
I'll explain a lot better. But let's say it's $100,000, depending on the state and everything. But $100,000 is $10,000 lien. And that's the contract price. And let's say we assign it for 120. So what the process is, cash buyer pays 120,000, $20,000 goes to you. And then now we have 100K that will go to the actual seller. The title company is going to take 10,000 out of those proceeds and give you 90, and then they're going to pay the 10,000 for you of that lien for whatever it is. So $10,000 lien, $100,000 house price, they get 90. Obviously there's taxes, there's so much more prorations and stuff like that. Same thing with the mortgage. So if I have a $1 million house and I have $100,000 I owe on it, I'll net about 900K in equity. Simple as that.
Right. I see. Okay.
Now, if it's second mortgage, who gets paid first, it's a lot different. But for like, let's keep it very simple. That's kind of how it works.
Okay.
Depending on the lien too.
Okay. So it does depend on different,
like a child support lien or something, it changes. Quick claim, remember like a lien. So if someone does, let's say I have a $100,000 house and I have a $100,000 lien and I just quick claim that deed over to you, you're still responsible for that lien if you agree to that quick claim. The quick claim won't affect the lien. You could still, so you might get a guy with a lien says, I'll just quit claim it to you. The quit claim changes the owner, but the actual obligation still attached to the property. So people do try all fun stuff like that. When you're having a mortgage and you actually get a warranty deed, the lien has to be cleared out before the property gets sold.
That's
Like a
difference between
legitimate deed with title insurance, all that.
Okay. Well, would that be the difference between a warranty deed and a quick claim deed, right?
Yes, that'd be the difference between the two. Obviously, a cash buyer is not going to buy a $200,000 asset without getting title insurance. So you won't have to worry about that. It's when the seller's like, I'll just quit claim it to you. They're trying to pull a fast one on you. Now, that's probably something stupid. You probably could have gone your whole wholesaling career without knowing that. But one guy watching this, their seller's going to try that, and maybe I saved them $20K. So I just had to say that out there.
Appreciate that, man. Another question.
Everyone's state's different too, by the way, guys. So this is very general.
Absentee owners, is that a good list to also skip trace and actually just a text, or would that be more like a cold calling list?
It's interesting. You're going to be dealing with a lot more landlords. So I like vacants a lot better.
Vacants. Okay. Got it. All right. Another question that I have is, I got your script for text messages. I actually came up with like, I don't know, maybe 10 more of my own. I put emojis and whatnot in it.
And if you Facebook message me, and I'll look over the ad copy. Don't say it over here. Don't give me your ad copy because someone's going to steal it. I promise you.
Okay.
If you want to Facebook message me that, when I get to my messages this weekend, I'll look at it and try to help you as best I can. I'm just trying to cut you off because I don't want you to say, like, if you have something really good and I like tell you it's really good, everyone's going to steal it. So I have too many people watching this. So just before you say that, yeah, message me and I'll try to look at it hopefully tonight. But I'll try to help you out as much as I can with it.
All right. Appreciate that, man.
I'm trying to be very careful because people they post their deal addresses on it. Like, Zach, look at it. I'm like, it's going to get stolen. And people call it, very greedy people. So I'd be very careful. So with text where it's like the ad copy is very important, I'd be careful. But generally you don't want to just go straight for the jugular on the text. Like you want to go, hey, Christian, are you the owner of 123 Main Street? Or, hey, is this Christian? ? Those do very well. And the algorithm is changing with the Verizon, AT&T and stuff. We're always playing with it. But those quick ones where you get a response, that's always been the best.
You know, that example that you gave, I do have one like that. However, some carriers are using something that says, let me look at it because I was just reading it and I was getting confused.
Like press reply to stop.
No, like, do you want us to stop messaging you? And people reply yes. And so I'm thinking, yes, you are so-and-so, or yes, stop replying.
Unless they say stop, I ain't opting them out.
Okay.
Sorry.
Got it. Cool, man. What else? Man, I did talk to my friend about the 25%, you know, if he was gonna get on the call. So I don't know if you recall that conversation we had last week or not. I was gonna offer him 25%. He's like, man, I don't want to be an employee. I just want to be a part of the business. And I said, well, maybe you need to just do your own thing and figure it out. If you need help, maybe, you know, I told him about you and everything. And so he's like, let me think about it. Because he actually wanted to split everything, like all the costs and everything halfway. So I don't know if that was a good option for me or not. I don't know if there's a lot of wholesalers that actually are in partnerships like that. Does that even make sense? Yeah.
A lot. I mean, like Carlos Reyes, Sal Shakir like that. Me and Rick are like that. There's plenty. But I mean, with like Rick, I'll trust him with my life. So with a friend or something or a business partner, for every story like us that we scaled it up to 7 figures, there's a story of one guy screwing the other guy over. Millions of situations. Let's say you scale the business to a decent amount and let's say your business partner gets a divorce and they need the equity out now to pay the divorce. Like it's so many situations. Always best to do it yourself. Unless that partner really brings something to the table that will change the game. Maybe they're the best acquisitions person and you're just a genius marketer and you can both use your skill sets to make more money together than without. I don't know. You definitely have to look at everything. But you just got to see what fits right for you.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Okay. So another question. You were saying earlier that if you hire somebody, you hire a marketing person, right? Like the first person to hire. What would they be doing exactly? And
Cold calling.
More just cold calling? Okay.
Yeah. So like first off, like let's get that right. If we can get that right, then we do other things right.
Okay. Got it. What is this position people do? Like
mostly building cash buyers, if that makes sense, or cold calling cash sales. Not even like selling it. They're just building cash buyers.
And your VAs are the ones that are actually going to the appointments and things like that? Or is that also your marketer?
Acquisitions person.
So what does your VA do?
We're physical.
Okay.
So the VA is just building cash buyers on the dispo side.
Oh, okay. I thought you had a marketing person as a VA, but you don't, right?
No, we do. They do cold calling estimate. They generate the leads. That's marketing for me.
Okay.
We generate the lead. The lead goes to our acquisitions manager, or a lead manager will deal with follow-ups and stuff. Acquisitions person will go on appointments, lock up deals. Then from there, we'll have someone do transaction coordinating, which will be in-house. And we'll usually I'll look at it, or acquisitions person will give me a good nod. I'll like, hey, this is like 70K right here in profit. Let's wholesale it. Okay, let's wholesale it. Or it's like, we got to wholesale this one. It's a piece of junk. And then I'll kind of get everyone in place, do the closing stuff like that. But it's not that complicated. Like if we're doing $40,000 deals, like I only got to put a couple puzzle pieces together on it. So, I mean, that's why I'm at like 5 hours a week max and work, but, we got to build the cash buyers, but we're wholesaling so much less now, just because the wholesaling is working so well for us. But the cash buyers we have a pretty good list, and we'll just call them and sell it to them.
Okay. Cool. I got a couple more questions, so that's okay.
Keep going. You're helping people out.
Awesome. Thanks. Well, you're helping me out, so it works that way.
Appreciate it.
Let's see here. How many? Obviously, I'm starting off, but I'm under the plan with batch leads that allows me to send 1,000 text messages per day.
Okay.
So sending 5,000 text messages Monday through Friday, is that something that's good to start off with?
Yeah, with the Trace Act, it's probably closer to that. So just get used to that now. You should be fine.
All right. Do you have maybe a percentage of what would that translate to as far as ROI? Or
I can't do not in your market and your skill set. I just can't.
Got it.
My best ways of finding KPIs is by just doing the results and seeing from the past. So if I say, hey, we did 40 hours of this, that's your results. So let's do it again. And we should be similar to that. That's kind of how I look at it. I do some predicting, but like not a lot. Like I trust facts over what my feelings are for what the future is going to be, especially in business.
Yeah. Speaking of KPIs, the KPIs results only happen after the campaign has ended, correct?
Depending.
Not during?
I don't look at it during. Like I keep it pretty strict for the campaign to be done.
Okay. Because I was trying to figure it out, and I'm not done sending the 1,000 text messages right now. I sent like 850 something. I still have a few left. Just because my list of 1,500, I only got like 800 plus phone numbers that I could text. But I was like, oh, I can't see the KPIs. Everything's zeroed out. So I wasn't sure.
Usually it takes an hour or two for it to even get through, because they're all using Twilio. So I tested it out, see if you get your results a little faster. But I kind of look at
Okay.
end of the day stuff.
Got it. I added my Podio email address on my campaign. Is that cool? Like, what does that even do? I have no idea.
Depends how fancy you want to get, but it'll push it to your Podio and create a lead. It won't, if you don't have Zapier, do all those crazy integrations, it won't do that. But I like to manually put in the leads if
Okay.
it's hot.
Got it. And I think, did I have one more question then? I don't know. I forgot. If I remember, I'll let you know.
All right. I appreciate it.
I'll message you though. I'll message you on
Perfect.
Facebook. Thank you for that.
Sweet, man. No worries. All right. We got some other questions. So, Roger, what's up?
Hey, Zach, I'm here. How you doing?
Doing great, man. How are you doing?
Oh, real good. I don't really have any questions. Just kind of tuned in to listen to everybody else's questions tonight. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
I hope you learn, be a sponge, and get it going, man.
yeah, we really appreciate you doing this every week. I missed it the last couple weeks. I was traveling, but
No
yeah,
worries.
things are going good. We're putting some of your teaching into practice. My son and I are both gonna start cold calling next week. I mean, he's done it a little bit, dabbled in it, but not 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, like you recommend. So
I don't do that.
if that's going to be his job, he's got to do it. So he's going to start. I'm going to start too. We did the bandit signs. We got probably 4 or 5 leads. None of them have actually turned into deals yet, but we're still working with them.
All right.
So
Do the work.
so
Deals will follow.
yeah. So I appreciate it. Thanks again, Zach.
All right. No worries, Roger. I'm rooting for you.
Thanks.
All right. Nader.
Hey, Zach. Yeah, it's Nader.
Nader, how are you, man?
I'm great, man. How you doing?
I'm blessed beyond stress. How are you?
I'm excellent. Yeah, I actually have a couple of questions. I do have to follow up with the seller in like 7 minutes, so I'm going to be in and out really quick. So I have a lot that I just heard about today. Seller is really motivated, and it's almost 2 acres, and there's already concrete poured. It used to be a health clinic, so the development's already pretty much there. And they say you can fit like 20 condos on it. The thing is, I'm not sure how to comp it at all. Like, it's really hard to comp. There's nothing in the area that indicates like how much they're rent for or anything like that. There are apartment complexes and a lot of developments nearby, but I'm just wondering, how should I figure out what my what I should expect from my cash buyers for it?
All right. There's 2 ways to do it. First of all, it's cash flow comps. Figure out what it'll cash flow for, and then do the 1% rule off of it. This is all rough stuff because it's a very unique property. Next would be using a trusted cash buyer and having them give you a rough ballpark, and then reverse engineer from there. Those are the ones for something like that.
That's like ones where I'm at right now. Okay, well, thank you, because there's also some good ideas with the cash flow.
Yeah.
One other thing, I'm in Houston, so I feel like every person here, well, they know somebody who's a wholesaler, and then every list I pull is already super saturated. Everyone's already on it. I'm trying to get granular with the zip codes and different niches, but it's real hard to find one that I think hasn't already been touched by another wholesaler.
I get it.
My question is, for outbound marketing, how do I really make it so that I'm not having to do 3,000 phone calls for like a couple of good leads?
Try for dollars.
I agree. Yeah, that's my primary thing after cold calling.
That's it, man.
And then,
Get the list no one else can buy.
And then one more thing for bandit signs, can I ask what your KPI is, or like your returns for converted lead, how much it costs you?
Dude, we don't do any bandit signs anymore.
Oh, okay, my bad.
I mean, I've only spent maybe my whole career $10,000 on bandit signs, and it's an insane amount. So the KPI is insane. If you can get someone to put bandit signs out and you're getting results, it's free money. Like for $10,000 for bandit signs, that was a lot of bandit signs. That was a lot. I was putting like 500 out a month and making 10 to 20K. So I know the results of that. So maybe 10X. But
yeah, I've heard crazy things like that, like $40 per converted lead or just some absurd numbers.
Yeah. So I would I mean, 10 to 20x, I would say. I mean, the hardest part's actually putting them out at like 3 or 4 a.m. So I love bandit signs so much. They're just so legal where I'm at. So
They're not legal where I'm at either, but you know, we can work around that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
As in, like, most people, they used to take them down a lot recently. They kind of stopped, and they've been popping up here and there. So it's not super saturated like it used to be. But most wholesalers, if you just start putting them out at the right times, they're not going to take them down or catch you in any kind of way. So it's quote unquote illegal.
If it's illegal, I don't recommend
it. And I can stand by that recommendation.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
Good luck with it.
So I think one or two last things for probates. Have you ever considered the approach where you're upfront with a situation and like talk about the property address? Because most of the time, whenever I'm trying to cold call probates, it's like, hey, do you have a property for sale? No. And then that's the end of the phone call.
You're cold calling it wrong. Hey, are you the owner of XYZ? Well, yes and no. Okay. And then you go from there.
Got it. Okay. And
you cold calling saying, hey, I know your mom died. I'm trying to buy her house. You're going to get cut off. It'd be the worst cold calling session of your life. The approach I just said would be way better. Okay.
Got you. So do be upfront about the address. Usually ask
why. I've tried it. I've tried them all. I'm trying to save you hours and hours of anguish that I had to deal with. So that's how I that's how I came to that conclusion. Now you can try it, see what happens. That's just my experience.
All right. Yeah. I really appreciate that, Zach.
Thank you.
My one last question. So code violations in my area are super hard to come by because I called the code enforcement offices and all that. Went through a dozen different phone calls, and end of the day they said, yeah, we don't give it out. Though I've heard through an agent that does get that list from the county because he's licensed, that he's able to buy it. Isn't it free under Freedom of Information Act? Do I have to actually email them the FOIA document for it?
Email them. Go after it. You pay taxes. You're good.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Zach. I really appreciate the Q&A session and all the great stuff you're doing.
All right. Best of luck, man.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day, man.
You too. Next year we have Daedon. Jeez, I'm so bad with names. I'm sorry.
No, it's Jidone.
Jay, jeez, I can't forget. There's too many people on here. I'm getting too many subscribers. Sorry, man. How are you, man?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. So what's up? You got any questions I can help you with today?
Yeah, I was wondering, when you're doing like virtual wholesaling, how do you hire like an acquisitions person to do that for you?
You need to master acquisitions yourself, and then you go find someone to do it. That's the best way to do it. Having an acquisitions person requires so much skills and training. You have to be so much better than the acquisitions person to train them. Only way it works, in my opinion.
So you wouldn't just hire somebody who's already experienced?
You can. It's possible, but for them to train the way you want to do it, no. Mm-hmm. Unless you're out here closing deals yourself and you don't want to be in the business anymore and you're okay with having someone that's 60 to 70% of your skill set, it's not worth it. I would be closing deals first of all before you start doing it, because the way I train my acquisitions person is they watch me close in front of them. And if you can't close in front of them, how are they going to believe that this company can do it and they can actually make money? So that's the way I do it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And you don't want your acquisitions person being better than you, because then they have all the leverage.
Okay.
That's my opinion on it. But yeah, man. Any other questions?
Yeah. What's your opinion on like radio ads and TV ads?
I would stay away from newer. Radio ads are actually kind of decent in the right markets for older people.
Gotcha.
Radio is way better than TV. I have a whole video on it if you want to watch it. Radio space up at the record should pop up.
Okay, I'll go take a look at it.
Sweet.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, man. Oh, I forgot. You gotta give at least 1 to 3K marketing for that, to make it worthwhile for my research.
For radio or
from the people that've done well, 1 to 3K. Yeah.
okay.
A month.
Gotcha. All right, thank you.
No worries, man. Thanks. Then last here we have Chris. Chris, what is up?
What's up, man? How's it going?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. Yeah, so I have a couple questions. So my first one would be I'm currently using Google Voice to cold call right now. I'm currently doing a drive for dollars list, and I'm kind of running into some issues today. I'm not sure if it has to do with the Trace Act, but they completely like if I was to manually call, it doesn't go through. Like I'm a little confused. So I'm kind of on the urge of either getting a new Google Voice number and paying for it, or that could be my options, or maybe getting a dialer and just going from there. I'm not sure.
Dude, just get another Google account and then get a new phone number, transfer the phone number over, and then test it out.
All right, cool. Another thing, as far as in cold calling, so what's as for you, what's considered as a lead in your business?
If the person wants to sell their property and they're qualified.
Okay.
So I asked them the 4 questions. What's their motivation? They have a legitimate motivation. What's the condition of the property? What's their time frame and the price? Price is the least important one for me on there. The motivation is good, and they actually want to sell the property within a reasonable amount of time for cash. I'm ready to go.
Nice. Yeah, and as far as as far as getting a list, because like I mentioned, I'm currently working on a drive for dollars list. So when should I recycle as far as in like following up? I think I'm having a little bit of trouble of like timing as far as in, following up with them.
Follow up with the whole list every month until you have too many leads.
Okay, nice. Yeah, and I also got this lead. He was very firm on it. I checked the ARV, the comps, and he actually wants 320. When I looked at the comps, they were looking anywhere from like 240 to 290. So yeah, he wants close to retail. As far as in those numbers, I mean, I was thinking about subject to, but obviously that's way too much of what he wants. But as far as in subject to, what would be considered like what's a fair number to be constructed as a subject to deal in your perspective?
It was worth 240, 250, 260.
Mm.
Preferably 245.
Oh, okay. So 245. Gotcha.
Yeah, way too much.
All right. Nice. Yeah, but that was pretty much just one more question. As far as in once I get my first deal, definitely just reinvest the majority of the money. As far as in batch leads, do you think I should go with batch leads or call tools? Because I'm sorry, no, not call tools. What is it? Mojo dialer. Because I know you mentioned it's 3 dialers right now.
Yeah, honestly, they're the same.
They're the same. Oh, okay.
It's a Lowe's hammer versus a Home Depot hammer. They're both going to hammer the nail.
Gotcha.
I use batch dialer right now, but I have a bigger business, and then Mojo, I use that to start, and I got so much money off of Mojo. So they both work. We're doing deals on both of them. So they're both going to do the same tool.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that was pretty much it, Zach. I really appreciate it.
Dude, I appreciate you with the support, man. Thank you so much.
Not a problem, man. Take care, man.
Sweet. Take care. So any more questions from everyone in here before we hop off? All right. Sweet. So let me go here and let me answer some comments that I think we got, and then we'll see what we got. So let's see. All right. So really quick, some questions we got here. Hello, everyone. Thanks for helping others. What's WHFR? That's Wholesaling Houses for Real. That is the Facebook Mastermind group. That's what we do. So that is probably what I would say. So focus on that. That is our Wholesaling Mastermind. You can join on Facebook. Inspire me to do better and try harder. Thank you so much. My boy, Zach, what's up? What's up? Wholesaling Houses for Real. Who are you getting your probates through? The courthouse, the clerk of the court. Wholesaling Houses for Real Facebook group. Correct. Very interesting. I was wondering about the cold calling DNC issues. Sweet. Someone wants to team up and squat up in Tampa. Abandon rates are way too high above triple lines. That's correct. Looking to team up in Atlanta. Hit my people up. Genuine. Looks like a lot of people actually networking in the chat. That's pretty cool. How do you get a water shutoff list? I get it through listrei.com, aka PropStream, utility liens list. Utility liens list on there. Zach, we love about utility. Yes, just explain that. Google the software. You can request it from the water utility. So that's probably what I would say. Some great comments here. Appreciate you, Zach. I watched your interview with Antone Campbell earlier. Good stuff. He brought it. He brought the gems. Steve says, I know driving for dollars is tough to scale, but what are your recommendations of driving for dollars virtually on the streets? Google Maps, and then just look out for properties that are in distress. That's the easiest way to, it's like regular driving for dollars. You just got to keep doing the work on it. Some other great questions on here. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Is it legal to put bandit signs on private property with permission from the owner of the property? Yes. Yes, it is. So that's it, guys. I really appreciate the support you guys been given. This is another Friday live I do. Guys, go to Facebook, search Wholesaling Houses for Real. FORREAL. Wholesaling Houses for Real. That is my Facebook group. That is the largest wholesaling mastermind in the entire country. Fastest growing one too. Appreciate you guys. I hope to see you soon. I'm rooting for your success. I believe in your success for real estate wholesaling, and I can't wait to see you succeed. Thank you guys so much. Have a blessed day.